I creep on my ex actively a few times a month.
Basically not at all.
Seasonally, once a season.
Every day.
Never.
Probably not as often as he creeps on me.
Can you imagine what it would be like to end a relationship and not have access to your ex's digital footprint? Years ago, scorned lovers tore up pictures and letters and had to ask mutual friends to find out what their exes were up to. Now, apps like Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat give you quick access to who they're with, what they're doing, and even what they're eating. If you've ever felt the urge to take a quick peek at an old flame's profile, you might be wondering, why do we creep on our exes? If you look at your ex's Instagram likes as often as you check your own, according to anthropologist Helen Fisher, you're probably suffering from an addiction. Dr. Fisher and her research partner Lucy Brown put people in an MRI machine and looked at what parts of their brains became active when they looked at a picture of their ex. Although it may sound over the top, when you're pining for someone you're not quite over yet, the same part of your brain that controls drug addiction jumps into action.
The basic brain regions linked with addiction, not only substance addiction but behavioral addictions, also become activated when you're madly in love. That elation, the giddiness, the despair, the focus, the motivation, the craving is linked with the dopamine system in the brain. For millions of years, you had to find the right person. You had to focus on that person. You had to continue to like them and love them for a period of time so you could raise your babies as a team. We've got the data showing that the brain activity associated with feelings of intense romantic love is linked with the basic brain system for addiction.
Dopamine is the same neurotransmitter that's released when you're high on a drug like cocaine. When your partner is gone, you're left craving more, and internet creeping is an easy way to quickly satisfy the urge.
Stalking is definitely a form of addiction. In fact, most of us would really like to stalk the person who's left us. I mean, where is he? What is he doing? How come this happened? But we have impulse control, and we don't do it. So stalking is more than just the desire to know. It's the lack of impulse control that makes you do it. And of course, on the internet today, it's very easy to do.
As tempting as it may be to click on their page, internet creeping is a vicious circle. The more you creep, the more you'll be triggered by their posts and tags, and that only feeds the addiction.
When you've been dumped, it's not only a photograph that reminds you of this individual. It's a song, it's a place, it's a book, it's a TV show. Anything can trigger this intense drive. Suddenly you see a piece of chocolate cake that you want. Suddenly you want a cigarette. You want them to call. You want her to write. You want this person to tell you that they love you. When you see a picture of your ex, that brain system can become triggered and instantly you'll want that person again.
Do you feel guilty about those urges to stalk your ex on social media? Don't blame yourself, blame biology. In fact, it can even be healthy to creep on your ex, says psychologist Dr. Tara Marshall, who's done many studies on Facebook surveillance.
It's only when it crosses the threshold where it becomes obsessive, where you're looking several times a day at an ex-partner's Facebook page or a current romantic partner's Facebook page. Only then could it have negative outcomes and become more pathological. But for the majority of people, I think it's quite a normal process. It can help people to move on from a past relationship if done in moderation.
So what if you are looking at your ex's Facebook multiple times a day? What if you just can't stop, no matter how much time has gone by? It could reveal that you have a highly anxious attachment style. When Dr. Marshall studied the Facebook surveillance habits of the brokenhearted, she found that people who engage in a lot of digital creeping tend to be afraid of rejection and abandonment. They have a negative self-view and therefore constantly monitor a partner for signs they'll head out the door. During breakups, they're more likely to have trouble detaching, so they turn to social media to feel that connection.
People who score high in anxious attachment, they tend to see themselves as unworthy of love, so they have low self-esteem, and therefore they think, why would anybody want to be with me? People who are more likely to have an anxious attachment style are more likely to also engage in Facebook surveillance of an ex-romantic partner. And this could be because people who are high in anxious attachment are more likely to feel distress after a breakup. They have a strong desire to remain in proximity to the ex-partner, even symbolic proximity through Facebook.
The other thing to know from Dr. Marshall's study is that if you're still looking at your ex's social media, you're probably not completely over them.
People who engage in more surveillance were more likely to report negative feelings for the ex-partners, jealousy, hatred, disappointment, betrayal, loss. They were more likely to also report strong remaining feelings for the ex-partner. So they reported more longing for the ex-partner, more sexual desire for the ex-partner. They also reported more distress about the breakup, And they also reported lower personal growth, so they're less likely to feel that they had moved on from the breakup.
Whether you're pining for your ex or wishing they'd spontaneously combust, you'll need to focus on your personal growth if you want to stop feeling the compulsion to click. So next time you open Instagram, take a second and think about whether or not you really want to feed your addiction. Your heart and your phone battery will thank you.